Good evening, you're watching Just the News. I'm Amita Balachandra. We're going to start off today's bulletin with fuel price rise because in the last 8 days, it's increased 7 times and the overall increase is at 4.80 rupees in the last 1 week alone. Petrol prices have crossed the 100 rupee mark in Delhi. This is what it looks like in different cities. In Delhi, it's at 100.21 rupees per litre petrol. Diesel is at 91.47 rupees per litre. In Mumbai, petrol costs 115 rupees per litre. In Chennai, petrol costs about 106 rupees per litre. In Kolkata, it's at 109.68 rupees per litre. In the meantime, on to news coming in from Punjab, where BKU leaders have said that 7 BKU Ugrahan members were injured late on Monday night, allegedly, after the police lathi charge protesting farmers outside the Lambi Tehsil office in Punjab's Muktsar district. Now, this is the allegation by the BKU farmers. Now, the farmers had allegedly held Tehsildar Ravinder Singh hostage before the police intervened. The protesters were seeking payment of the long-pending compensation for the damage to their cotton crops caused by pink bollworms. Now, the police have lodged an FIR naming 10 people, who include farmers and several others who are at the moment unidentified. Now, revenue officials on Tuesday went on strike against the incident in this state. In the meantime, BKU leader Rakesh Tikayat today started an indefinite dharna along with his supporters at a police station in Muzaffarnagar against the arrest of some activists of the farmer outfit. Meanwhile, nationwide strike of Bharat Bandh by trade unions has entered day 2. Now, public transport and banking services remain partly disrupted in some states. Banking services were impacted partially as a section of bank officials came in support of the strike. Now, train services were affected in several divisions as members of the trade union staged a rail roko in Bhubaneswar, Behrampur and other railway stations. In the meantime, the Mamata Banerjee-led government has been criticized by the left for not supporting the strike call against the centre after the state government employees were told to not miss offices. Also in the news, a Delhi court on Monday granted bail to the Bulli Bai app case accused Neeraj Bishnoi and Sulli Deals app creator Omkareshwar Thakur on humanitarian grounds, however, with a certain bail conditions. Now, among the many bail conditions that the court has listed out, it includes that the accused person would not try to contact, influence, induce any victim, among others, including a condition that the accused would not tamper with the evidence. Now, the court considered that the accused are first-time offenders and continued imprisonment would be detrimental to their overall well-being. Now, to give you a bit of a context, in January 2022, an app called Bulli Bai uploaded the photographs of hundreds of Muslim women without their consent for a virtual auction. Now, Sulli Deals was a similar app which was started in July 2021. In the meantime, a massive fire broke out in the forest area of Sariska Tiger Reserve in Rajasthan's Alwar district. The fire was first noticed on Sunday. The next day, officials tried to get it under control without much success. Now, tiger movement in the area, according to reports, have been affected by the fire. According to officials, around 150 to 200 people, including the forest staff, are engaged in controlling the fire. Airforce helicopters equipped with water sprays are battling to bring it under control as well. Now, the cause of the blaze is yet to be ascertained. On to politics right now. Starting off with the statement that's coming from Home Minister Amit Shah. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sharma and Meghalaya Chief Minister Conrad Sangma signed an agreement today to resolve a 50-year-old border dispute between the states. And the pact was signed in the presence of Home Minister Amit Shah, who dubbed it as, and I quote, a historic day for the Northeast, end quote. Now, the pact will resolve 6 of the 12 places along the 884.9 kilometer border between the two states. Meanwhile, in Goa, Chief Minister Pramod Sawant has announced that the state government will provide 3 LPG cylinders free of cost to each household from April onwards, as promised by the BJP in its election manifesto. Now, Mr. Sawant made the announcement on Monday after chairing the first meeting of his new cabinet. In an update on what's going on in the state of Karnataka, especially with reports coming in that many Muslim traders are facing curbs, two legislators from the ruling BJP have slammed the restrictions imposed on Muslim traders from temples. A.H. Vishwanath, an MLC, and Anil Benake, an MLA, have termed it as wrong, undemocratic, and madness. Now, they have also urged the state government to intervene in the matter. Now, the remarks made by them came in the wake of some temples in Udupi and Shivamogga barring Muslim traders from participating in festivals following demands by groups, and these are right-wing groups like VHP, Hindu Jaganana Vedike, Bajrang Dal, and Sri Ram Sene. Now, in the meantime, the BJP government has justified the curbs as the result of a rule introduced in 2002 during the Congress's tenure to bar non-Hindus from running shops in temple premises. On to environment news right now. The centre has decided to not go ahead with the Par-Tapi-Narmada river linking project due to protests against it by Adivasi communities. Now, residents of Gujarat's Valsad, Dangs and Navsari districts have expressed fears that the project may displace people and destroy their livelihoods. Now, BJP's Gujarat chief has said, and I quote, "They have assured us that until Maharashtra and Gujarat, the two states involved in the project, give their written consent for the project, it cannot be given a go-ahead," end quote. They meaning the union government. Now, the project was aimed at transferring water from the Western Ghats to the dry areas of Saurashtra and Kutch in Gujarat, according to the Hindu. Now, it sought to link the three rivers, Par, Tapi and Narmada, through 7 reservoirs, 6 in Gujarat and 1 in Maharashtra. On to international news. We start off with the COVID situation in China. Shanghai is the latest city and a major city in China to have now imposed lockdown on its citizens due to rise in COVID cases. Now, as of Tuesday, according to reports, it recorded 4,477 COVID cases. Now, the city will be locked down in 2 stages, and the goal is to test the entire population. Now, Bloomberg reported that citizens are barred from leaving their homes even to walk their dogs. In the meantime, over 20,000 bankers, traders, and other workers are sleeping in their office towers in Shanghai's district due to the lockdown. Moving on to Ukraine crisis right now. Here are the latest updates. It's day 34 of Russia's invasion in Ukraine. Peace talks between Russian and Ukrainian negotiating teams held in Istanbul on Tuesday will not continue for a second day, and this was according to Turkish Foreign Ministry. Now, Russia has decided to drastically cut its military activity around Kyiv and Chernihiv in Ukraine, one of its deputy defense ministers said earlier, and that's big. BBC, in the meantime, reported that Russian billionaire Roman Abramovich appeared at peace negotiations that took place between Russia and Ukraine in Turkey. Meanwhile, Russia's defense minister has said that Ukraine's military capability has been seriously degraded and it no longer has an air force. Now, according to Reuters, he also said that around 600 foreign mercenaries have been killed in Ukraine over the last 2 weeks. Meanwhile, Ukraine's President Zelenskyy has said that 7 people were killed in a missile strike on the regional government headquarters at the southern city of Mykolaiv. Zelenskyy, who spoke to the Danish parliament through a translator, said Tuesday's strike also left 22 people injured. Now, the attack took place even as Ukraine and Russia held their first face-to-face talks in 2 weeks today in Turkey. Also, Kremlin spokesperson said that Vladimir Putin has the absolute support of the population with, and I quote, fairly unprecedented growth in polling data, end quote. Now, Kremlin also said that reports that Russia forcefully deports people from Mariupol are a lie that does not correspond with reality. Now, a lot of people More than 1 lakh of them are in Mariupol, and repeatedly the mayor of the city, including the president of Ukraine, have said that Mariupol is running out of electricity, water, and food. Meanwhile, Japan has said that it will ban the export of high-end cars and other luxury goods to Russia from the 5th of April. Now, Russia-bound exports of boat engines worth more than 1.3 million yen, motorcycles worth over 600,000 yen, and grand pianos priced at more than 200,000, I beg your pardon, yen, will also be banned. In the meantime, this is the response that's come in from India. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has said that the Ukraine war is impacting all countries similar to the pandemic, with the supply chains broken. Now, the finance minister was responding to a budget discussion in the Rajya Sabha where the parliament approved the budget 2022-23. The finance minister said that the unprecedented hike in oil price was a challenge. She also highlighted that the government has not raised tax during the pandemic or have not used a tax route to fund the recovery process. Remember that petrol and diesel prices have been continuing to rise right after elections in 5 states. We've seen that petrol and diesel prices have risen by more than 4 rupees in the last 1 week alone. One piece of good news before we wrap things up here on this bulletin: Delhi has announced that it has decided to switch over to electric vehicles from petrol and CNG ones for all official purposes to inspire and set an example to the people and push them to adopt EVs. Now, as per the revised guidelines, and I quote, all leased or hired cars used for the commute of GNCTD officers shall be electric cars, and department, grantee institutions or autonomous bodies will decide the type of electric vehicles at their own level on the basis of resources available with them, end quote. That brings us to the end of this bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.